Ping, 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 ping. What the brothers say? All pings matter. So ping as many people as you can to the room.
Con. I'm going to get started here in a little bit. Continue to ping as you come into the room, and we're going to get started fairly shortly.
Pinging your whole list is definitely the worst part of this app. Unless you
Yeah, it
have like
takes forever.
unless you have 2 or 3 followers, it's just the worst, bro.
Yeah, and then you can't remember if you already pinged the person or, so you're pinging them
God,
again. And, yeah,
God.
yeah. So, I think we can go ahead and get started. What do you think?
I think
Okay.
got the crowd, most of the crowd.
All right, Khan. Um, so I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shout out to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Greetings and blessings. Um, we've been, over the past 2 episodes, we've been blessed by the Spirit of the Most High to cover Jacob's trouble. Um, over the past, the first 10 episodes we covered, we did a very broad overview and on some topics, and then an in-depth lessons on other topics. We covered what is Jacob's trouble, how to prepare for it, some spiritual preparations that we can do in terms of securing our faith, shedding our sins, and getting right with the Most High that will be as a shield for us in the coming days of Jacob's trouble. We also went in depth into some other areas concerning food storage, how to deal with hyperinflation, cyber attacks, EMPs, skills that will prove useful for Jacob's trouble, camping, bushcraft, fire making, water purification, communications, self defense. We've covered a broad range over the first 10 episodes of Jacob's trouble. So, over the past 2 weeks, we've shifted gears a little bit and we are starting a new segment regarding Jacob's trouble called Analyzing Jacob's Trouble. Now, this is where we take various films and TV shows in order to extrapolate relevant lessons regarding Jacob's trouble and what we can learn from it and how to apply it in the future. So, episode 1 of Analyzing Jacob's Trouble, we covered an episode from the Twilight Zone called The Shelter, and we covered a short film called Aftermath. Um, Both have got a very good response from Thy Kingdom Comes group, which if you are not a member of, go ahead and click on the green house and become a member and nominate others to become a member. We have Jacob's Trouble. We have a lot of other workshops and classes that we have had and we are planning to have in the future. And we have the morning news that covers current news and current events. So on episode 2 of Analyzing Jacob's Trouble, we covered the movie The Crazies, which is we covered the 2010 version. That was a remake of a earlier version in 1973. So tonight on Analyzing Jacob's Trouble, we will cover 2 apocalyptic stories. Let's get started. The first one, if you've been to the website is and saw it, is called Survive. We see at the beginning of this that the time is 15 AC, which means after the cataclysm. Now, we can assume this means 15 years after the collapse, but I have my reservations about the timeline, and I'll explain why at the end. We see a man panting from thirst, and by the looks of the environment and the setting, it appears to be very hot. Now, if we're in Jacob's trouble during the summer, protecting yourself from dehydration is a must. So, having packs of electrolytes in your bug out bag is a good idea. You can find those at Walgreens or Walmart in the pharmacy section, or you can go to Amazon and type in electrolyte packs. It's like different flavors. It's kind of like Gatorade that you just put in water, shake it up, and you have like instant Gatorade. Okay. Now, sodium is very important a factor when it comes to dehydration. So, you've seen some of the movies or TV shows where people are in the desert and, they got to find water. They got to find water. Well, as you're sweating, your body is releasing a lot of sodium. Now, the body needs sodium to operate just as much as it needs water. So, there's been some stories of people in the desert that have been lost, and when they were found, they were dead, but at the same time, they had half a canister of water left, or they had a good amount of water with them. So what happened? Um, uh, I guess plain and simple, the body ran out of sodium. So water is like gasoline to the engine, and sodium is like oil. So you can have all the gasoline you want in your car, but if you don't have oil, then the engine's going to lock up. So it's the same thing with sodium. So electrolytes play a vital role in that. Um, it's just a little tip. Now, we see him taking a break to open the contents of his bag. We can see he has a little, appears like little morsels of seeds or bread or whatnot, and he starts to eat it aggressively. He later opens up his Bible and reads a passage that appears to give him some encouragement, which that will be a very real thing in the days to come. It would be a good idea to have some of our favorite Psalms or Bible verses memorized. In addition, a small compact Bible that's already pre-marked and already in your bug out bag. Okay. My study Bible, it's pretty big and bulky, and if I can carry it with me during Jacob's trouble, that would be great. However, I have a smaller one that I use for pulling precepts, and a mini one, a very tiny one, just in case. So with those two, not the mini one just yet, but with the smaller one I use for grabbing precepts, I've started to mark it with the same markings that are in my larger study Bible. And I'm going to do the same for the mini one that I'm going to place in my bug out bag already. So, if I need to leave an emergency, the 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 desire to grab my study Bible with my highlighters and pens and my precept book is just not realistic. So having that already in your bag is a good idea. We later see, and of course, memorizing those key scriptures. We later see him looking around as he hears some noise in the distance. Now he looks around versus just standing up, which is smart. You want to get a reading on where the noise is coming from before you just pop your head up and get exposed. Now he looks around until he knows where the sound is coming from, and he grabs his rifle and he heads over in that direction and looks through his scope to get a better view of a man. Now, if you have binoculars, rifle scope, a monocular, something like that, please make sure you are aware of the direction of the sun before you start looking through your lens, because the sun will probably reflect the lens of your scopes and possibly give away your position. Okay. Now, he sees a man by himself trying to open a can with a rock. Now, please pay attention to this and do this when we are done with this lesson. Go to YouTube and type how to open cans without a can opener. Okay. Type that in, and you're going to see some videos that show you very simple ways on how to open cans using a spoon or using a smooth concrete surface. Okay. But bashing a can with a rock is not, it just isn't going to work. Not the way that we see this man doing it. Okay. The man also sees some jugs of water next to the man bashing a can with the rock trying to open it. Okay, so we see this guy has some supplies. So then he goes back to his bag and paces back and forth as he hesitates on his next move. He goes into his bag and sees his jug of water is empty. Now he goes back to his Bible and we see it wasn't a Bible passage he was looking at, but a picture of his wife or girlfriend that he takes with him. He goes back and aims at the man and lines him up in the scope. But he hesitates and puts the gun down after thinking about it for some time, not wanting to shoot the man. Instead, he goes down the cliff or the little hill to rob the man. And he catches the biker off guard and tells him, "Hey, I just want some food. I usually don't do this." Now, the biker, who was caught off guard, raises his hand quickly and tells him, "Hey, you can have it all. Just let me go. You can even have the good stuff in my tent." Which the man, like an idiot, goes into the tent and gets knocked out by the biker with the rock. Now, the biker stands over the man and says, "You should have shot me when you had the chance." And my comment to that is the biker is 100% correct. He later wakes up with his gun still next to him, and he grabs his picture of his woman, which leads us to believe that the biker searched the man as he was knocked out. Later, we see the biker getting shot in the arm by a woman who asks, "Where did you hide the rest of the food?" This means she tracked this biker down. Now, the skill of tracking is a very valuable one we should learn. Again, just go to YouTube and type in tracking, or how to track an animal, or how to track. Um, you will see some, tons of videos, of course. Learning to recognize animal tracks and get the awareness if a place has been recently ransacked or if it's been abandoned for a while is a good skill that we, could learn. Now, the man is unseen by the woman. The man who just, who was knocked out. He is unseen by the woman, and he takes his rifle and hides. The biker tells her where the food is, where he hid the food, and she shoots him. No further talks, no negotiations, no Mexican standoff. She got what she wanted and she killed him. Then the man comes out of hiding and starts to thank the woman, who shoots him quickly, shoots him dead. She walks over to his body and says, "So you got yourself a scumbag buddy who is just as slow on the draw as you are. Pathetic." Then she walks away. She packs up a few things from the biker's camp, some water and a few cans, and walks away. She is smart in that she doesn't grab more than she can carry, nor does she stay longer than she needs to. The biker could have friends who are meeting him at that location, or the gunshots could be attracting more people. Either way, this woman is smart. Now, the camera zooms in to the back of the photo and it reads, "Remember, John, only the strong survives." And apparently he didn't listen. It amazes me that John, the main character of the story, was able to survive this long, being this naive. Which makes me wonder, as I said at the beginning, 15 AC. Are they saying 15 years or 15 months after the cataclysm? I highly doubt it's 15 years, and that no one, and that is one important thing to note. In terms of the time, during Jacob's trouble, we have no idea. Some people speculate how long Jacob's trouble is going to last. Truth is, we don't know 100% with certainty. However, with that being said, days are going to. We won't have weekdays and weekends, we're just going to have days. Holidays are going to be gone, except for those who are keeping the commandments. We will be able to track track days by calculating the moon and remembering the holy days. But the question is going to come up very often, depending on how long are we're out with power or whatever. Is today the 15th or the 17th or the 16th, or is it Monday or is it Sunday? Like after a while, it's all just going to keep meshing in. So, but in any event, with this story, I highly doubt he survived 15 years, being this naive and hesitant. Possibly 15 months, but again, we do not know. Now, a few things to note about this story. Well, let's go back to where it says the note that the woman left him on the back of the photo. Remember, John, only the strong survives. Now, that phrase is from, it's been coined after Charles Darwin. We know he's a racist Edomite. But a lot of people have copied his term, more Edomites, and they've, I guess, made their own quotes based off this quote right here. So I'm going to read a few of them, just a couple, and, we're going to discuss it. This is one. It is not the strongest nor or the most intelligent who survive, but those who can best manage change. That is from Leon Megason. The weak die out and the strong will survive and will live on forever. That is from Anne Frank. Survivors aren't always the strongest. Sometimes they're the smartest, but most often they're simply the luckiest. Okay, and then you can read all these quotes all day. But the point is, I wanted to read, the reason I read these, John didn't get the memo. So, and that cost him his life. So, a few things. If you're going to rob them and move on. Trust me, they will do it to you and your kids, and they will do it in front of their kids and then teach their kids that their actions are justified. We covered the mindset of those who will not be in the spirit, those who are not in the truth, those who scoffed and messed around this entire time leading up to Jacob's trouble. And they will not be messing around when this time comes, so says the scriptures. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15. Let me see the, I think, 15 verse 20, no. Yeah, chapter 15, I forgot the verse. But it reads, one second. A man will have no pity on his neighbor, but they will spoil their goods and for great tribulation and lack of bread. Okay. So no pity. Sorry, just paraphrase that one. So there will be no pity, no mercy, no regard, or no care for us or our loved ones. Okay. So in conclusion, what do we have here? A woman who has the skills of tracking, skills that will prove valuable for us in the coming days. A woman who has no reservations of what she needs to do to survive and make those who she believes are in her way to die. A biker who stole and got caught twice. A biker who did not keep moving while knowing that he could have people looking for him. And we have a man, John, a man who's on his last legs in terms of food, water, and hope. A man who gets a glimpse of hope when he sees a stranger that has the substance that he needs to make it another day. A man who hesitates twice to seize the opportunity, and it costs him his life, especially when he tempts fate a third time. Each person gives us some insight of the possible scenarios that each of us may face and which choices that will most likely yield the most realistic outcome as we enter Jacob's trouble. So with that, on this story, I yield, and I welcome any questions, or King Ben or Mike, has something you wanted to add or comment on this? Ben, Mike.
All I was gonna say is basically, you kind of already said it, but he definitely should have shot the man when he had the opportunity, because clearly he would have done the same to him. So that's just the mindset we have to have in those days. But that's all I really had to add for that movie.
Con. And I found that that precept. This would this is Second Ezra chapter 15 verses 17 through 19. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, you said it. Everyone said it. Everyone got the memo except for John that, you know, there will be no pity, there will be no mercy, there will be no regard or nor care for you or your loved ones. It's the cold truth, but this is what the scripture says. So, as those, who are in the truth, who read and take hold of the Apocrypha, who know that we have to go through something during Jacob's trouble, we know that the mindset that we, have to be in, and we pray that the Spirit will be upon us. But and the scripture also gives us a glimpse as to the mindset of those who are not in the truth, the type of mindset they're going to have. So it shouldn't be an issue. Oh, should I? Shouldn't I? What do I do? Now, of course, I mean, there's a million and one scenarios that could go on, but this is why we have to lean on the Holy Spirit for wisdom, guidance, and direction. So, before I move on to the next one, is there any one wants to come up and add anything to this story? What did you think? Did you like it? It was too short, too cheesy. Okay, I can moving on to the next one. Um, where is that? 1 second. Okay. So the next film we will cover tonight is called Leftovers. It starts out with the woman going to feed her chickens, which is a smart animal to raise. Chickens have multiple purposes: pest control, eggs, meat, etc. If you're looking to have some chickens now, and you live in a city, most city ordinances, again, you would have to check at your specific city. You can have chickens. You can't have roosters because they're loud and they crow nonstop. So that's the only thing in terms of the city. But in terms of the animal that you can have. But yeah, for most part, most cities you can have chickens. They don't take up a lot of space, and it's a pretty good investment. Um, we next see her getting some food from her garden, and she is cleaning it and cutting some carrots in the kitchen. Now, this tells us that she has been living here a very long time, and she has experienced gardening. Okay. Now, something that I've seen during the early stages of the pandemic was that people were stocking up seeds. Um, there's this company I normally get my seeds from. Um, they shipped pretty quickly, and it's never had any problem. But at the beginning of the pandemic, when I was going to buy some seeds from them, they had a backlog of 6 weeks, and that was pretty frustrating. And they told me like they've just had an explosion of orders. People are trying to plant food, and people are want to look up the new hobby, pick up a new hobby because of the pandemic, and you know so they had a backlog of 6 weeks. Now, some people I've seen on Instagram and Twitter, they just took pictures of themselves stocking up on seeds. Now, I'm sure very few of them actually planted a garden. That was about a year ago, and I'm sure I haven't seen any pictures from those people that they planted a garden. They probably have, they just didn't post it. But now, one thing about those who are just, saying, I'm not going to plant, I'm just going to stock up on seeds. Now, which isn't gardening isn't something you just learn on the fly. There are many seasons and many things that affect your plants, and you have to know how to treat them. And you will only know how to treat them when the situation arises and you have to look it up. Um, for instance, potatoes, the most common thing you're going to have to deal with is blight. That is when your potatoes start to get some fungus and they start to turn funny colors. Um, During Jacob's trouble, if you're just starting growing potatoes for the first time and you see blight, you're not going to know what to do, and it's just going to rot. So if you're thinking about gardening, I'm just going to stock up on seeds. Please plant something now. Not even if you're worried about planting, just buy a plant and learn how to take care of that and learn how to you know um, cultivated and things like that. So, learning how to manage a plant is just as important, if not more important, than uh, starting uh, starting from seeds. So, I know some people get the romantic idea that I planted a seed and look at it, it's sprouting and it's growing, and now I got fruit. And but there's sometimes you're going to plant tons of seeds, and it's going to go through various stages. So, um, you know. Uh, Start learning that. And one of the things you're going to learn by doing. I made this mistake. I thought the same thing. I'm just going to stock up on seeds. I'm never going to plant anything. And then one day, me and my wife just started, like, hey, let's just start planting. So we planted, and then as things went on, I'm like, why is this tomato leaves turning purple? And I looked it up, and it was like, oh, if your tomato leaves are turning purple, it's because they need fertilizer. And then start doing that. So it's little things like that if it's your first time doing it, and you're trying to do it during the stress of everything else going on during Jacob's trouble, it's just not going to be successful. So, or you're going to have a harder time doing it versus doing that now. So it doesn't matter what it is. And then another thing I learned was planting at the wrong time. Like we started lettuce in July, and as I quickly learned that lettuce is a winter crop. So starting growing lettuce with seeds in July is, especially in Houston, it's a joke. So I learned that lesson very quickly, and then I started planting them in November, and they've grown fairly well. But it's little things like that. This goes to one of the lessons we covered during Jacob's trouble of having the mindset of just. Like, I don't need to stock up on food. I'll just stock seeds, and I'll just plant a garden. Like that's not how it works. Or I don't need to store up on food. I'll just go hunt. And you've never done it before. You're gonna have a very difficult time doing it. So, as we can see here in this lady's garden, it's a mature garden. You see some shards, some greens, and other things, and she's cutting some carrots. So you could tell that this is a mature garden that she has experience growing. Now, um, but here in this lady's situation, she has chickens and mature garden. Again, that tells us where this is probably where she always lived. Then we see her go to the roof of her house with a rifle, and after she overlooks the land, she lies down on the roof and reads a book, and she eats a sandwich. Again, this tells us a few things. It tells us that she knows the land very well, and she is aware of the most likely path that danger may come, and she has a few safety nets in place. Now, with all of that, me personally, I would never get that comfortable. I mean, unless we're in a group and it's all of us and we're taking turns in shifts and guarding and watching and things like that. So that's just me personally. However, we see her chickens also act as a safety net when they alert her of incoming zombies. One thing we notice that she shoots these zombies. When she shoots these zombies, we see that she is calm. She aims for the head and she isn't wasting ammo. Now, shooting isn't a hard thing, neither is it a difficult one. Neither is it an easy one. but the difficulty greatly increases with a moving target. And it increases dramatically when you have targets that shoot back. Okay. Later, we see her frying some chicken and preparing a table, but it is only her eating. In the next scene, there's a repeat of her routine. Now, in times like this, a routine is good. It is doubtful that any of us will have able to have a constant routine, but if we are able to, all praises. And if we're not, all praises also. Um, with her routine, she's back on the roof reading her, looks like a romance novel. We next hear some screams, to which the woman grabs her rifle and she sees a man and two teens being chased by zombies. She lines up the zombies in her sight and she kills them, helping the family. Later, we see the family sitting at her dinner table, which we see the woman, which we can see from this, that the woman always wanted a piece of normalcy. A dinner table with plates, silverware, and glasses all in their respective places. Now, at what price should this normalcy come? We saw that in episode 1 of Analyzing Jacob's Trouble in the Twilight Zone, that at the end they were willing to sacrifice the harsh lesson of preparedness for a block party just to get things back to normal. Here we see this woman bringing in complete strangers and having them eat at her dinner table, to which she later prays over the food and thanks the Lord for their arrival. They start to eat as if they haven't eaten in days, and she says, "You guys sure love fried chicken." Now, if you've ever been to a third world country, one second. Now, if you've ever been to a third world country, the small things we here in America take for granted will become very evident when we see other people's reaction to those things that we see as common or excuse me, Salakian. The small things we take for granted will be evident when we see other people's reaction to those things they see as a luxury, but we regard as common. We then find out her name is Claire as the man tells her there's nothing out there. We had only survived on a few canned goods and roadkill. Her expression to the roadkill seems like anyone who has had an abundant food and wouldn't dare eat roadkill. Now, as they are talking, he gets surprised when she learns she has a car, which she quickly dashes his hopes when she says, "I had one, but I left it on Route 7. Now, this is smart. He had an expression of hope, which could quickly turn into begging and pleading, and then can quickly escalate into robbery and violence. Even if she had a truck, she was smart to quickly dash his hopes to avoid escalation. He then says, "We ran out of food, and then the bullets ran out." And that statement right there is very true. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, when this goes down, the food will run out before the bullets do. As they finish dinner, she tells them to eat up, and she is grateful for seeing another living soul, which isolation will become a reality for some. Here we have in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 27. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, 2 of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and the clefts of the rocks. Later we see Claire in the kitchen, and the man is saying, "Well, the kids are off to bed." As they are talking, we see Claire packing up food and stocking the fridge with the leftovers. Now, it appears the electricity is still running. We see that earlier when she is washing her carrots and looks like greens. And we see this as she opens up the fridge and puts the food in there. Now, it's possible that Claire has a solar panel with solar batteries or other renewable energy options. Now, when I said solar batteries, I'm not really talking about the ones that the renewable or the rechargeable ones that you put in your flashlight or things like that, or your Xbox controller or whatever. Not those. They look like car batteries that if you're setting up a renewable energy, you're trying to be off grid, but you're trying to have renewable energy. They look like car batteries, but they're called solar batteries. So if that's your option, you want to you want to set up a renewable off-grid energy source. Um, Look into buying solar batteries, not car batteries. You can use car batteries, but they're just not advised. Solar batteries are designed for that type of setup when you have a bunch of solar panels or you have a windmill or something, and those batteries are powering everything else in the house. Okay. So again, it's not a bad idea for people who have land because the odds of the power grid still being on in this type of situation is slim to nil. You need people at these power stations providing maintenance. You need the internet monitoring and alerting the workers. And with one or both of those elements missing, the grid will go down. And that is all, of course, absent of a cyber attack. She then says that all she does is cook because that is all she knows and that is all there is to do. He then says, he says, "You sure know your way around that rifle," which she explains her husband taught her how to shoot and was a hunter. She then explains that, and that's another thing that just popped in my head, all praises, that, I mean, if you have a skill, you may want to teach it to someone else in your household. So, depending on what it is. Here, her husband was a hunter, so he taught her to at least know how to use a rifle. So, whatever, if you're, married, you're courting someone, that is a good thing to do is to, share or at least or open the other person up to learning a skill that that will prove vital, or, not even, necessarily prove vital, but just anything that you have that could teach someone else something. So now imagine if this situation, if her husband never taught her how to use that rifle, he just went to hunting, he just used his rifle, he just went to the range. Her being able to, clear her land of zombies and to help these people wouldn't have happened, which we later, for the family's sake, that would have been a good thing. We later find out. Now, she then explains that she lost her husband and her son out there on a fateful day, which we can assume it was because of zombies. She later tells the man to get some sleep because she is going to make a big breakfast for them. She then later says that her mom used to say that the Lord works in mysterious ways and he will always provide, as she takes a hold of the man's hand. We see the next day that Claire is making breakfast. Afterwards, she takes 2 plates of food down to the basement, where we see her smiling as she enters a basement with 2 zombies chained, and they are eating intestines and organs from a bin. She smiles and says, "I made you a plate of hash brown with onions," and we see an older male zombie then knocks the plate down in rage. She replied, "You don't have to be so rude about it. Go ahead and eat your meat." The male zombie grunts and growls as he lunges at Claire but can't reach her because of the chains. She smiles and turns to the younger zombie and says with a smile, "Be sure to eat your meat." At this point, we can assume that this is her son and her husband that are now zombies who are chained in her basement, which she kept alive. We later see her placing the leftover organs and blood in plastic containers upstairs and opens the fridge, to which we see 3 decapitated heads wrapped in saran wrap. These are the survivors that Claire saved from the zombies. She poisoned them and started to dismember their bodies for food to be fed to her zombified husband and son. The eyes of Claire's victims can be seen wide and open, which can suggest that she poisoned them with something that greatly restricted their movements to the point of them being almost paralyzed, but didn't kill them. The victims she saved from the zombies. The victims who she had blessed the Lord for their company and prepared a meal for them, only to kill them and feed them to her dead family with no remorse. So, in conclusion, what do we have? We have a family surviving the best they can in the zombie apocalypse who thought their fortunes have changed for the better when they were rescued by Claire. Who, if any of us in their desperate situation, would have welcomed the help from Claire? A father who was too trusting and let his guard down from a woman who appeared to be too trusting, welcoming and considering given the situation. A woman's trust, a woman's trust, which was really the surface level of a deep, sinister evil that was masked by her country charm, her vegetable garden, chickens, her nicely placed dinner table, and prayers to the Lord over the food and her guest. Claire's evil is the worst kind that we will have to face during Jacob's trouble. Her evil isn't the loud, aggressive evil that vocalizes their intentions to kill as they draw their weapon. It isn't the kind of evil that is obvious by crazy and wild vices. Those kinds of evil that will make that kind of evil will make our job easy to dispose of in the coming days. Her evil is designed to lower your instincts, lower your guard, and to thank the Lord that you've met her. Her evil is the kind that her evil is the kind of evil that disarmed the Native Americans when the Pilgrims arrived. Her hidden evil is driven by that delusion to keep things normal by having her zombified husband and son chained to the basement. Claire's brand of evil is the only kind that will be exposed by the Holy Spirit working through the hopeful elect during Jacob's trouble. And with that, I yield and welcome any comments given this topic.
Con. Um, man, I really wish that everybody had watched this because these was three really good movie clips, and I myself, was looking at them and I was like, yo, that's wild, so and these are things that a lot of our people gonna fall victim to during these times. And this one, it got me, I was listen, it was things I picked up on. I was like, yo, first of all, we know Edomites can't cook, right? So I'm seeing this Edomite, and she's the way she's cooking this chicken. I mean, that was the horror part. Like I was like screaming when I saw her cooking the chicken. I was like, "Yo, it's no season on this chicken. She's frying it like she ain't even got enough grease in the frying pan." I was like, "Yo, this is the blandest food ever." I was like, "Yo, if she got to be evil the way she's making this. Like it was nothing, no salt, no pepper." The whatever that was in the bowl, it would look like it was like rice and beans or peas. It looked like it was mashed potatoes. It was the worst meal ever. And then the prayer that she said when the family had came, like I'm like, who is this? We know that they have no according to Deuteronomy 32:8, we know that they don't speak to the Most High. So I don't know who she was talking to, but that prayer was like the worst prayer ever. I don't know who gave her that prayer, but she wasn't praying for them. She wasn't praying for herself. But those was the things that I thought like, yo, this demon, she's wicked. But just to the how it started with like the family, like first with the zombies running towards the house, and then the family running towards it, and like just to to save them, and they like, oh, I just made it, and you think honestly, it would give you a perspective that maybe it's something sinister with the family, because the father's asking all these questions and stuff like that in the kitchen, and she asking her how she learned she know her way around the kitchen, and she was like, yeah, she's her mother told her that the way to a man's heart is his stomach. And he was like, yeah, you know your way around a rifle as well, you know what I'm saying? So it was like she's setting them up. She how she cook, and then not going to sleep, is she playing. Listen, my mom always taught me that the most uh uh the most evilest person out of the oppressor is the white woman. So that's the one you have to look out. That was the one that did the most. dirt during slavery, during all our people being murdered throughout history, is the white woman. Never trust the white woman. Over the above the white man is the white woman in evil. They perpetrated all. So I knew she was out to do something. But just seeing it, and it being confirmed at the end, because I knew she had some type of setup for them. I start thinking about a precept, because that family, was, thought they were saved, and they went into something worse, right? And I actually have another precept, damn, that I wanted, but I ain't gonna hold up the time to find it, because they was actually,
What was it?
huh?
What was,
Uh,
what was
it's
it?
the
How was it
one where,
phrased?
the one where where the man runs to the house. I can't think of it right now, and he saved. Remember, it said you run into the house from
Okay,
a,
for you. Go ahead.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for. Right. So they were saved from that danger, and they went and found even worse peril than the the zombies that was chasing them, right? But it's one precept that I had. This is a Proverbs 4, and I'm gonna start at 14. It says, "Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men." Right? I don't know who or what they did up to that point, but it will be people that will escape danger and be led to the path of wicked people, because they was led, right to that house. Wherever they came from, they went right into that house, and they didn't know that they was running from what they thought they was running from. They was actually running into, right? Verse 15, it says, "Avoid it, pass not by it, and turn from it, and pass away." It says, verse 16, it says, "For they," and this is talking regarding the wicked, it says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall." Now, what did she do when the father was up? She put the children to bed, and then she was trying to convince him. She convinced him to go rest. She said, "I had a big breakfast plan in the morning," and she had all of them, go to sleep to basically put their guard down, knowing that she had already poisoned them. But you know, she wanted to stay up. She made sure she stayed up, and that's how she was able to get advantage of them. You know, um, because father didn't know that he had been poisoned or anything like that, right? So also, um, it says, "For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence." I mean, everything that she made, all of the food that she prepared for them, she was the one, eating the bread of violence. That was in her. That was all that niceness that she had. She was the violent one. She was the wicked one. All that training that she did, what they was running from, that was in her. That was her abilities that was on it. That was her wickedness. That was the bread that she, that she and digested. While they was eating her bread, her food that was poison, she ate the bread of violence. Had that was her nature. We know that that's all of their nature. These are the people that we want to avoid during this time. Did you find that precept, King?
Con, I got it. This is Amos chapter 5, verses 18 through 19.
Khan, bring it up.
Woe unto him that desired the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it?
Khan. Oh, Khan. Yeah, that's it, man. Because like in that day that we are running from our doom, and judgment is happening, you know, a lot of us is gonna we like, oh, we're gonna be running like, yo, I just made it, I just made it. And we're gonna run into peril just like that. And it's gonna be even worse than what we ran from. We are actually going to run, probably escape explosion, or a building falling, or a mob of people, and run into even a bigger mob. I mean, it's going to be animals on the street. It's going to be all type of things happen. So we're going to actually it's a lot of us that feel we're gonna escape and from one thing and go into something even worse. But yeah, that was wild, man. That was definitely wild. I see Sister Stina came up. You had something, sis?
Shalom. Just a quick question. I must have missed this part, but what? How do we know that she poisoned them?
A few things. It's not explicitly stated, but I just kind of from inference. If she came in there with an axe at any one of them, I think the three of them would have been able to take her. And then when she opened the fridge, you see their eyes open. So, you know, that led me to believe that, you know, they were still alive when, you know,
Sis, uh, Salakia, sis, they had to die from that food. That food was the worst food ever. They had to die as soon as they ate that food. It was no taste in that food, sis. You saw how she was
I'm
frying it.
done.
Come on, like it was even enough grease in the pot. That chicken was bland as hell. Yo, I would have died as soon as I took a bite.
All right, Khan, Tawada. I just wanted to know because I was like, I must have missed something because I didn't get the part where y'all was saying that it was poison. But I get what you're saying because yeah, their eyes were open, so they had to be up and awake.
con. And, I've said this in a few times that, the most dangerous person um, during Jacob's trouble will not be the gangs. It will not be the FEMA camps. It will not be um, the Illuminati or whatever. It won't be them. It will be that soccer mom, and I'm more specifically talking about white women, who, if you have something that will shut up their crying children, or will give them a piece of normalcy, they're coming for you. Those will be the most dangerous people. Um, and so, with that, and this is I've said that even before I saw this movie. I saw it a while ago, but you know, um, that comment I made is a common theme, like what Brother Ben was saying. You know, the white woman. I mean, it is. I mean, it's that's hands down the most dangerous. But yeah, if you took Claire from this movie and put the other white girl from Survive, the one that we just went over, the girl from Survive would have shot her without asking any questions. There would have been no investigations, no, oh hey, you're a woman too, let's work together. Game recognized game. So, but again, um, yeah, my very first time watching this, it completely caught me off guard. I mean, I was a little suspicious of the man too, but yeah, but my first time watching this was years ago. So, um, but yeah, I can't blame the man. I mean, like you said, like you run from a lion, but then a bear meets you. But the thing is, your guard is down, which, you're desperate, you're hungry, you're just got chased by some zombies. And then some woman, instead of letting you, die, or you deal with the zombies, which, now looking back, I'm sure they would have taken the zombies. Um, you know, that was just a, unfortunate scenario. We're winding back. Um, you know, I'm sure this guy, knowing what he knows now, I'm sure, he would have probably just went in, second he got in the house, and, definitely told his kids don't eat anything, and, probably overpowered the woman and, killed her, then searched the house, or and probably took over. Um, Again, having that kind of foresight will only be afforded to those, um, you know, who, who are guided by the Holy Spirit during this time. Um, but yeah, it was a crazy one. I wanted to do Ember, but I didn't have enough time to write up the review for that one. So I'm going to post another short film, and I do Ember and the other short film next week. But yeah, that was a crazy one. Yeah, I really couldn't blame the man for going into the woman's house, but like you said, even with all of that, I mean, most zombie movies, the humans are worse than the zombies. So he should have had his guard up a little bit higher. Um, but again, with desperate people, it's crazy what people will do or be forced to do. Like you said, like what Ben was saying, like the food was bland and no seasoning, but you saw how crazy those people were eating it because this is like the first hot meal we've seen in the Lord knows how long. So, um, you know, Mike, is something you want to add or Ben?
Yeah, I just wanted to add another precept. We get so many uh things we looking at these videos, and we just have to know that a lot of times this will probably be different in with us because of scripture say never trust thine enemy and things like that. But you know yeah, you got to be careful, man, and going to these people. Listen, listen, it's a lot of these people we're gonna see in that time. Do not trust them. Do not just with that woman. I want to bring out this precept. This was Psalms 55 and 21. Salakia. Um, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. The words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right? So, that's them white women, man. They try to sound so helpful. They try to sound so caring. I mean, she was finessing that father in the kitchen. And, that was the Edomite, But, put yourself in that category. We deal with them every day, and it's going to be those that seem friendly. They're going to seem neighborly. They're going to seem helpful, but they are inherently wicked. They are all the while, you know, uh, they always planning to overthrow you, to take what you have. When you for those that saw Amber, like he said, he's gonna do the review next week. You'll see the same type of scenario, but we'll save that for another time. But that is a common practice, a common thing that we deal with out in the world. Do not trust these people. Never trust thy enemy, and don't be fooled. Them white women, you see the whole Karen theme that's been going on throughout. It's been more prevalent throughout the so-called pandemic, but these women have been doing this all throughout history, mainly throughout you know throughout time. But since we've been in this captivity, so many people of our people have been killed. Red Summer, most of the red look back in history on Red Summer and see how our people was killed at the hands of accusations made by these white women. So, I'm not saying the white man is any better, by no means. But yeah, the white women, they are the spark of the fire a lot of the times. Tulsa, Oklahoma was over a white woman. Rosewood was over a white woman's accusation. A lot of these places that our people was killed over white women. So don't be deceived by them that in these times of peril, they may look like they are the helpful ones, the neighbors that, you know, um, that may want to be helpful, and because they got children and y'all got that type of connection, she's a mother and she'll be sympathetic. No, they are inherently wicked. The Most High said, you cannot straighten what I've made crooked, paraphrasing. So they are built that way. So I yield on that.
Khan, Mike, is something you wanted to add, or if someone else wanted to come up and ask any questions or comments? It's just a few things that I've noticed that, I mean, like you said, inherently wicked. I mean, that's borderline. Like that woman would give Michael Myers nightmares. I mean, the whole time, like there was like no emotion. I mean, that's like psychopathy. I mean, there was no emotion when she's, you know, like no hesitation, no qualms about it, no remorse. Even when I just kind of replayed it just now, even then when she's putting the food in the fridge, she's smiling at the heads as she closes the fridge. So again, like that type of evil, like yeah, that's the worst kind. I mean, anyone like for instance, we go back to the other one, um, survive with the biker. I mean, yeah, you should have shot me when you had like that type. We're not. It's easy to identify. Like this is a threat, but it's that one, or even like the movie Aftermath. Like no one was talking in that movie in terms of negotiations. Like the people who had guns were using them. But we see this one. It's she's smiling the whole entire time, during dinner, during prayer, after dinner. Talking about her family. You know, after she dismembers the body and she feeds it to her zombified family. After she closes the fridge with the decapitated heads, she is smiling. Like, yeah, that is. And I mean, heaven forbid if she has kids that are alive. Like, it's that motherly instinct, especially like you said with the inherent wickedness. I mean, that just gets worse, exponentially worse. So I mean, it can't get worse than this. I mean, she just had a family into her house and killed them. So I mean, I don't see how it can get any worse. But yeah, that is just something to be aware of. It's a good eye opener. So and next week I will definitely cover Amber. That was a good one. I'm going to add another one to it. So um, you know, I don't have anything else for tonight. If there's any questions, comments, or concerns you want to bring up or ask, we can get those answered to the best of our ability. And if not, I can just put it over to King Ben or Mike. Something
I
you
think
wanted to add?
yeah, I think Mike has some.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, that one scene when he was in the kitchen with her and they were just talking, I honestly thought he was gonna overpower her and just basically kind of use that to flee, but clearly he wasn't thinking on that level. So I just wanted to point that out. And then also, yeah, Ben was right about that chicken. That chicken looked nasty.
Yo, how he get finessed off that terrible ass chicken? Like, yo, you know your way around the kitchen. Yo, listen, I would have left as soon as I seen that chicken. Yo, I'd be like, yo, this is
Con,
this. Yo, I'm out. Yo, let's kids, let's go. We got to get out of here. Cause listen, that chicken, you saw the way she was frying it. It was no season, nowhere in sight, and it was like she didn't even put
no
grease in the pot,
flour.
bro. Bro, no flour. Yo, I don't think they don't know how to clean anything, right? So she just cut it from the damn chicken and put it in the pot. Like, man, that was the heart. That was the part of that. That's when I was like, yo, it's a horror movie. This is a horror movie right here. Forget the zombies. It's the
Con.
food. It was that bad, King. It was that bad. But just on a point of like it's a common theme with even going back to the Twilight clip. Yo, when all hell breaks loose, these people are going to turn. Like they're going to turn, man. It's not gonna be any remorse. It's not gonna be their survival is gonna be paramount. And they're not gonna be looking to make friends with you. They're not gonna be looking to gather with you. They're gonna be looking to take and eat you or kill you if at least at best at work at best they're gonna kill you, but they're gonna be looking to take everything you have. So when you see these people, you want to avoid these people at all costs. You're going to pray that the Most High have the angels around you and basically can guide you and navigate you through even some of our people, because a lot of our people is not even going to be in their mind. So you can't be going to these places and going to these people looking for help. But yeah, that was wild, man. That one and the one before that, man. I mean, they have no love for one another. I mean, she shot that dude clear straight in the head and didn't, without any regard to ask him any questions. And, like it was nothing. So, you know, it's wild. But yeah, that's what I had.
No, yeah, and I just wanted to also point out, like, it was kind of interesting watching both of them. That the white woman was the villain in both movies, you know. So they're definitely the people to avoid during those times.
Con,
Even
con.
in the Amber, like she was like, I know he didn't, they didn't get to that one yet, but I watched that one and
Oh, Slocky, I ain't
listen,
seen it yet. I ain't seen it yet.
yeah, yo, bro, like don't trust thy enemy, bro. Like, yo, that's the theme. Do not trust. Yo, I know listen. Our sisters feel we get on them, but listen, do not trust these white women, man. They are wicked.
There's also a book I read. They were her property. It
Con-
talks about what you had brought out about slavery, and yeah, I read that book like about a year ago, and yeah, they did a lot of dirt during slavery. So yeah, you're definitely on point with that.
Man, listen, you go into the books, man, where it has how they used to have our sisters, they used to dress our sisters up to look like mammy so they wouldn't be attractive to the slave master. They used to do all type of wickedness to our women. That's the least of the things, but just how they would have our women looking like mammies and things like that to make them look unattractive and things. They did wickedness, man. Those are some wicked demons, man. And listen, they're gonna be thrust through. Their baby's gonna be dashed against the stones. There's gonna be no sympathy in that day. I'm not gonna have no sympathy. So, yeah,
And the one thing about Survive, when John came out and said, "Oh, thank you," she turned around and shot him. I mean, that's a normal reaction. You don't, you didn't know he was there. You didn't, you don't like. She thought, like even she said, like, "Oh, you're with him basically, and you're slow on the draw too." Like, yeah, John was slow in a lot of places, let alone the trigger. But I mean, a few things. For one, I mean, if I was John, for one, I wouldn't have been in that situation. But assume I made it that far to where I was knocked out, I would have stayed hidden or used my gun and shot her, or at least stayed hidden until she moved away, until she moved on. But he pops up out of nowhere, which anyone in that situation would have been startled because you didn't know he was there. He has his gun in his hand, and then he starts to say thank you, but the trigger's already pulled at that point, and he's dead. But I mean, I was just curious, like, how the hell did he survive this long, um, acting like this? But
yeah,
yeah,
he was Forrest Gump, like for real. Like he was really stupid. Like the first thing was stupid, but then the second one, I mean, I'm like, yo, is this dude gonna hide? Like, why are you coming out with the gun? Like, just wait for her to leave, or shoot the guy, or shoot her. Like, I don't know. He could have did so many things, but I mean, he picked the wrong door both times.
He was behind the tent though. Like when he was behind the tent, all he had to do was chill behind the tent. She shot him. She doesn't know he's there. Blow her head off. Like it's easy.
yeah, that was yeah. John was slow in a lot of places. Like the timeline. My wife was like, "How is it? How did he survive this long?" I'm like, I don't know. But again, but yeah, yeah. So uh, those were some, hopefully you all got some good takeaways from that. Yeah, there's a common theme that I did not put together as I'm loading up these movies, but I'm starting to see the theme now. Um, yeah, and even with the Twilight Zone, we talked about the shelter when one of the neighbors, when they went back to their houses, and I think the guy's name was Jerry. He went to go see the doctor by himself and said, "Hey, can we come in?" Me and my wife, and he was like, "No," and then he shut the door. He went back to his house, and his wife was like, "Well, no, we got to try again." And she started yelling at him, and it's like, dude, I don't care what the doctor said. We're getting in there, and you're going to go back over there, and we're going to go back over there, and we're getting in this shelter. So, yeah, that is a common theme that I've seen just in the selection of these movies. So, um, you know, I don't have anything else for tonight. I thank you guys for coming out. If you have any questions, come up. We'll get them answered, and I'll pass it over to Ben to close us out. Ben, you want to close us out?
Slack, slack. I was on mute.
Uh,
Con, anyone that is interested in the last night's class, the ancestral burial class that is up on the YouTube, as well as tonight's class will be up there as well in the movie review section. Uh, there is, for those that are not in the telechat, it is a poll that is up. Go in there and take part in that poll. I'm just trying to get some feedback as regard to what our next class should be. Um, and the choices in the poll, Slovakia are. Bear with me. The choices in the poll are okay. It's what class should Thy Kingdom Come host next? The choices are a Jacob's Trouble, stocking up and restock. Second choice would be natural home birth, midwife introduction. Um, and the third choice would be firearms use, safety, and how to apply for a CCP, which is concealed carry permit. So those are the three choices in the chat. You'll be able, just vote, and we'll be able to see, what is the most. I think we'll do them all, but it'll be one. We'll stretch them out one after another. So yeah, we had interest in all of those topics. Also, there was a request for, and we heard them for the next, or to be added to the list of the Jacob's Trouble classes. Brother Leo did check it out, and one was asked about growing, Jacob's Trouble class on growing food, your own food, which Brother Leo did touch on that early on, but not didn't go fully in depth on it. So he said he'll check it out and put it in consideration. It was also another brother from Twitter. Let me go there. That also asked regarding Salakia. It's right here. Bear with me. Try to get to the Twitter. Salakia. Salakia. The brother asked
Is that about the
about.
falling dollar?
Say it again, Kane.
Is that about the falling dollar in currency?
Right. If the stock market crashes, what
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He asked about that. Jacob's Trouble. And I know you touched on that basically with hyperinflation and
Mhm.
things like that, but you went, it wasn't it was similar to that. So he asked about, in depth with everybody, dealing with the cryptocurrency, that what happens if the, that. So I said, you'll be, you would consider it. It says, can we please get a Jacob's Trouble on what to do when the markets crash and inevitably the dollar with it? And that was like the microinflation, this hyperinflation class. But I'm sure probably down the line, I don't know, you could probably, Leo with this, that would be up to Leo to consider, how you want to go about that.
Con. I could put something together for that.
Just taking on cryptocurrency as
You're cutting in and out.
what you say, Leo. You said what? Can you hear
I
me?
said, am I cutting in and out, or is it you?
It probably was me. I muted my mic, but yeah, I said you would probably go into that when you maybe a refresher or something like that down the line
Mhm.
with all of it.
Yeah, not a
Can you hear
problem.
me? Yeah,
Yeah, I can
kind,
hear you.
kind,
Yeah, not a problem. Con.
kind. Yeah, so those was the two requests. So for that, sister Yafa's on stage. What's going on, sis? Shalom.
Hey, Shalom. I had a question about where to locate the movies that you all are reviewing and speaking of. How do I have access to view those?
Go ahead. You got it, Leo.
Oh, are you in the Thy Kingdom Come telechat?
I'm not. I have no idea how to get in it.
Okay. Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. You could I could follow you on Instagram, and I'll drop the link in there. But it's basically it's a website that we created called Yaya Quab's Trouble that has the films on there. So I upload the films a few days in advance or a week in advance, and then those are the ones we discuss for the coming classes. So
Okay.
if
Could
you
you spell that for me? The
Yaya,
Yaakov's trouble.
yeah, Yiqabs trouble. It's like Paleo Hebrew for Jacob.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
Con. Yeah, so and sis, you'll be able to once you join the telechat, you'll be able to see the information that is shared. Also, if you don't wish to come on stage, you can send messages in there regarding any questions you may have. There's a lot of things posted back there, information from previous classes, as well as you're able to get information on the classes or things coming available through our other sister clubs that we have that we're associated with. So get contact Brother Leo and he'll get you into the telechat. You just have to download the Telegram app and you'll be able to get up in there.
Okay, would I be able to, the Telegram app that you're referencing, that's just not Instagram, that's something separate, correct?
Right, that's a app that you can get in the App Store, whether you have Android or iOS. It's a separate it's a separate app from Instagram. He'll give you the link, and once he give you the link, if you click on the link, it'll take you to Telechat. If you don't have it downloaded, it'll take you to the App Store. Should
Okay, toda, thank y'all.
con I in the bar. So if Leo and Mike, y'all don't have anything else, don't forget we have a room opening up tomorrow, which would be that's going to be a doozy, as they say. We expecting all the smoke, so bring the smoke. We want everybody to come into the discussion. That room tomorrow is uh, it'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it basically it says. Black woman Kevin Samuels' words are invalid because of his delivery? Question mark. And basically, what we'll be going into is the brother's words invalid because of his, how he say them, and because of his demeanor. We got the whole uh, campaign that he's whatever his persuasion is. But is his words invalid or not? It's no proof that he is what a lot of our women are claiming that he is. He does have a demeanor, but is his words invalid? Is they not the truth? And we want to discuss that. We want to, because a lot of things he say it rings home, and it's controversial. But we are of the mindset of trying to get our people in order. So, especially our sisters. So, is the things that he's saying, do they hold weight or not? So come share in the discussion. We want to have a discussion. We welcome everybody to come and bring that smoke, whether if you agree or disagree. So we got that going on. Also on Thursday we have Knights of the Round Table, and that topic is do black women of today need a black man? And we want to discuss it. Is these the women with their profession today, they have really everything they need. Do they actually need a black man around? Because they have everything offered to them. In this, they I got my own car. I got my own. That type of thing. So we want to be able to, have these discussions on our terms, and let our people come and engage. So that'll be on Nights of the Round Table, and that'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thy Kingdom Come. So we got 2 rooms, 2 days. That's pretty controversial, and we hope that y'all come and ping some people in the room and get involved. So with that being said, we'll see y'all in the morning in mid morning brew. We want to end as we start. We give all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. We pray that y'all have a beautiful evening and be safe. I think the Shalom and Chill Room is still open. Y'all can head over there and go back to chilling. And we thank y'all for coming out. With that, we say Shalom.
Shalom. Appreciate y'all.